Training Godly Men in Nigeria, Biblical Foundations for Freedom. I was requested to visit Nigeria to speak to the pastor group there. They asked to go through the series, Godly Men. I met a lot of different sights there, some very familiar, and some not quite expected. Wonderful, beautiful children that I had an opportunity to meet and minister to and pass out many Bibles. Nigeria is a great land with a lot of people, about 100. This bookstore at the airport shows how influential Christianity is in Nigeria. About 50% of the population are Christians, which makes it probably the same amount of Christians in Nigeria as in America or China. There are many Christian ministries. This is Reverend Godstime, his wife, and his new 1-year-old child, and I had a privilege of ministering with them in Spread the Word ministry. His burden is to get God's Word out to the many people in Nigeria. They simply don't have God's Word. People ask me, what is your most difficult part on your mission trips? In this case, it was certainly the travel. Many hours each day in a very hot, un-air-conditioned car, sometimes with a window up. Very, very difficult. The special highlight of this trip was the ministry to the many children there. Reverend Godstein, Spread the Word Ministry, insisted on passing out Bibles to these many schools. This one is a public school. Reverend Godstein loves to pass out Bibles. So we went to 5, 6, 7, I don't know how many public and private Christian schools. It was just amazing to have this special opportunity to speak God's Word and to pass out these Bibles.
Yeah, bullseye. He said in Romans 3:23 that for all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. That falling short is, that Greek word there is missed the mark. It didn't reach it. It didn't hit it. And that's what it's like in our lives.
Not far from where we stayed, Reverend Godstein's father taught these children Christian things all day long. It's amazing how close they sat together. They care for them. They feed them rice. We also had a chance to visit a number of churches. Some were out in the city, some were out in the villages. Wherever I went, though, people were very interested in the Scriptures and receiving God's Word, hearing the messages. This is a church plant, actually, before it actually was started. They only have one elder there, and they were eagerly listening through translation. An hour before I left, we went to this village, had an opportunity to meet the chief of the village there, about 1,000 people, and share the gospel with him. I didn't know what to share. All of a sudden I was supposed to share, but God led me to share a testimony through my own salvation about how God saved me. He seemed very responsive and very eager to hear. Maybe God will start a church there by the time I get back again. And the reason I went to Nigeria, Benin City here, was to speak to these pastors about godly men. They asked me to go through the seminar that I've written, and they were thoroughly touched. In fact, someone was so awesomely moved by God that they got a television station camera crew to come for the rest of the time to interview us, to film this series for television.
If you look carefully at verse 8, for by grace you've been saved through faith, that not of yourselves, it's a gift of God. Both grace and faith are a gift of God, if I read carefully. And so God just extends everything I need.
They were so excited at the end of the week-long series that someone actually donated to be able to use their graduation robes from some other school. And we had a little ceremony. They're so happy that they have been able to learn about godly men. And and again, it has been told me that people say to me that you do not know how much this means to us. To pray for people in Nigeria, especially this pastoral group in Benin City. They really desire your prayers, that God's truth would go throughout this nation. As I said, half the nation know the Lord, but they know them so shallow. They need to know Him deeper. They need to have Bible teaching. And so pray for them, that God would strengthen them, and as the largest nation in Africa, they would go forth and bring the gospel to all the different parts of Africa. I really want to thank you for your prayer support, your financial support. They had so thoroughly enjoyed the different materials, the Godly Man materials, the audios that we just recently sent out so that they can hear them. And I want to thank the Lord for these pastors who diligently prepared and went with me and worked with me to maximize that week there I had, more than a week there I had there in Nigeria. Do pray for Reverend Godson. He's still looking for a used laptop to use for Spread the Word ministry. This is Reverend Paul Bucknell with Biblical Foundations for Freedom, releasing God's life-changing truth to a new generation.